Welcome back to NBA Cinema, guys. So, there's a lot to talk about on today as the Minnesota Timberwolves eliminated the Los Angeles Lakers in 5 games. And, we have to talk about first the way JJ Redick addressed the media in his pregame press conference. Let's check that out first.
Are you saying that because I'm inexperienced and that was an inexperienced decision that I made? You think I don't talk to my assistants about substitutions every single timeout?
No, I just think there's a lot of coaches lean on their assistants in those situations.
As do I, every single time. That's a weird assumption. All right.
What I noticed for the first few possessions on offense for the Minnesota Timberwolves, they went directly at Luka Doncic on the defensive end. Luka, it didn't matter who he was guarding, anybody from Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Ant-Man, whoever, Julius Randle, Mike Conley, anybody that was on him, and even on the bench, they would always go to Luka's man, make him play both ends. And that was before, he tweaked his back. And I was reminded of how important Derrick Jones Jr. could guard the best perimeter players, in Dallas. Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, erasing his defensive woes and his defensive mistakes, allowing people into the paint. They were able to show, block shots, and pretty much make it where Luka only had to focus on the one thing he was good at, and that's scoring with the ball in his hands. And also, with the ball in his hand, he could play make for others. Just having the ball in his hand, and they took everything else away from him. And that's why it worked so much last year. Now, you could see right here, Rob Pelinka was very frustrated at a point where Luka missed a crucial free throw. He was shaking his head like he was very disappointed at that point in the game. Now we're gonna talk about what LeBron had to say after the game because that's making some people turn their heads about the trade that was made that involved Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic. Let's peep that.
LeBron, basically from mid-January on, right when AD got injured, you guys started playing a lot of centerless basketball, and that required a lot from you and Doe and Rui and then Vando once he got back. Just from a physical, like taxing standpoint, how tough was that for the last 3.5 months to play that style, and do you feel like that caught up at all in this series?
No comment. I'll never say that because my guy AD said what he needed, and then he was gone the following week. So
satisfied with the roster? Do you feel like you guys need some more here?
I think we need another big. I feel like I've always been at my best when I've been the 4. And having the big out there, we know it worked when we won the championship with JaVale and Dwight. I'm at the 5 and I'm at the 4.
I got no comment. I put that uniform on every night. I gave everything I had, and that's all that matters.
Now, do I believe LeBron? In this case, I believe LeBron didn't know the trade was going down until they had had a handshake agreement and things were already in motion. I think at that point, Palenka and everyone came to LeBron saying, okay, LeBron, we're doing this, we're doing that. And they weren't asking him, they were telling him they were trading AD for Luka for the future. And LeBron probably then said, okay, if you're going to do that, then, add Morris in. And because we saw Morris's brother come out and say that LeBron asked for him to be added to the trade. So, you know, with that being said, I think that's when LeBron said that. I don't think he was involved actively going to the front office for this trade. But I do think maybe he put his 2 cents in after they had made the decision. That's just my opinion on this. But they talked to the actual big man on the roster. Well, they have Alex Lynn too, but Jaxson Hayes, who would have at least prevented Rudy Gobert from dunking every single basketball last night. Well, Rudy Alcindor, I should say, last night for dunking every single basketball, dominating. Had him looking like Wilt out there. But man, look, let's see what Jaxson Hayes had to say.
Very quickly in this series, JJ went away from you. How was that communicated to you? Did you understand the decision? And what was the feeling like to, especially tonight, not to get a chance to help the team?
Yeah, I mean, they told me, they were up straight with me, just saying just to stay ready, and they're going to try some other things out. So, I mean, that's what coach's decision, so I respect that always.
Now, this leads me to my last and final clip that we're going to look at where Kendrick Perkins goes in and blames JJ Redick for everything that went wrong in this series. And remember, Kendrick Perkins and JJ Redick, they've had back and forths where Kendrick Perkins was making videos off the set of First Take. They would go at it on the set of First Take. Actually, JJ has gotten into it with everyone on the First Take set, as far as Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, and others. When it comes to talking basketball, and he was very condescending in the way that he spoke about the game. Well, Kendrick Perkins did not forget those things, and he had a lot to say about JJ Redick. Let's check it out.
You damn right I'm blaming JJ Redick. You damn right. Mr. JJ Redick, I know more about basketball than anybody else in the world. Mr. JJ Redick, where the world is watching and could see that you need some type of size and athleticism on the floor when you're going against a physical, lengthy Minnesota team who has Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, Nas Reed, Jay McDaniels that imposes their will in the paint. But you still leave this small ball lineup out there on the floor and leave a 40-year-old senior citizen in LeBron James to battle in the trenches for a 7-game series that went 5. Listen, I just don't understand it for the life of me. This is not about X's and O's and schemes. This was common sense.
Now, I don't know if Luka is aware of this or not, but he will be under a microscope. Will he get in shape? Can he learn to play the game of basketball without it in his hands every minute, every second? He has a skill set that takes away from other players. Austin Reeves was relegated to the wing position during this series as a catch and shoot guy at times. Now, obviously, he wasn't making, and he was making some of these in the regular season, but he's naturally a guard. It's hard to sustain that when you've been playing a certain way your whole life. Not making any excuses for him. He got to be able to make shots, but Luka, not competing on both ends, having the ball in his hands, that just, that kills team flow. And he plays a lot slower. He's baiting for fouls. Um, they have something to think about. And the organization is probably going to end up having to do some of the same things that people were getting on the Mavericks about. They were like, let him drink. Michael Finley, don't take that beer from him. Um, but Luka's going to have to determine if he wants to play at a high level in his 30s, right? You can do this for now, get stats on one end of the floor, but as your body ages, it remembers how bad you were to it. And that's what Luka's going to have to determine if he loves the game or he just likes playing. He likes playing one end a lot. But uh, is he going to be, because you have to reinvent yourself as you get older. All that hurt jerk and foul baiting and falling all over the court and, trying to get the refs to blow the whistle, all that tripping on Jaden McDaniels' feet on purpose. All of those things are going to be things that's not going to be called when you get older. And, you won't be able to finish as well if you don't take care of your body. This is as athletic as he's going to be if he doesn't do something about this. We saw him running the stairs last offseason, but we can't take it serious until we see it in the regular season next year. And he's gonna have to guard. And we saw he was capable of it because when they went back to Dallas, all of a sudden he was fronting Anthony Davis. He was giving effort. We're not asking him to be a lockdown defender. We're asking him to try. If you get taken off the dribble when you're trying, okay, cool. You gave effort, but you're just not a defender. You don't even try, and a person beats you off their first step so often. They never have to make another move. You don't even bump them, off their course. They just blow past you. like you're a middle schooler, and so man, yeah, Luka's gonna have some things to think about. I found it interesting. LeBron James said what he said, about Anthony Davis. Is he said, he had nothing to do with that trade all along. That was something the Lakers organization wanted to do to prepare for the future because they had been hamstringed by some of the moves they made in favor of LeBron. So they felt like, they can do what they want to do with Luka. Okay, cool, but now Luka has to perform, and being in that purple and gold is going to be scrutinized heavily. I know Nico Harrison feels somewhat vindicated a little bit today. And it's going to take more, but Luca, he's hurt a lot too, and we're noticing that as well. Um, so yeah, man, we're gonna just see how this plays out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, peace.